air hung heavy with the stench of decay. September 8, 2025. A discovery so gruesome, so utterly chilling, it sent shockwaves across the globe. 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, found lifeless, dismembered, in the trunk of a Tesla registered to D4VD. A rising pop star whose meteoric career suddenly collided with the brutal realities of a homicide investigation. This isn't just the downfall of a celebrity. It's a complex puzzle, a twisted narrative shrouded in unanswered questions. Welcome to the D4VD Files, an in-depth exploration of the most compelling mysteries surrounding Celeste Rivas' tragic death and the role, if any, played by the enigmatic D4VD. The truth, much like Celeste's remains, appears fragmented, scattered. We need to piece it back together, meticulously examining every detail, every seemingly insignificant clue, to reconstruct the horrifying events that led to this tragedy. Was D4VD, with his carefully crafted public image, the predator hiding in plain sight? Or is he a victim of circumstance, a pawn in a game of devastating coincidences? We'll delve into 4 key areas of suspicion, analyzing the evidence, dissecting the testimonies, and searching for answers in the shadows. First, we examine the chilling parallels between D4VD's fictional character, Itami, and the actual murder of Celeste. Itami, a recurring villain in D4VD's graphic novels, is a murderer, a chilling counterpoint to a detective persona. The disturbing similarities between Itami's modus operandi and Celeste's death are impossible to ignore. Is this a horrifying coincidence? Or did D4VD inadvertently, or perhaps deliberately, expose a dark facet of his psyche through his fictional creation? We'll consult a leading forensic psychologist to navigate the delicate line between art and reality, imagination and action. Can an artist's words, their creations, be used as evidence against them? Next, we shift our focus to the Tesla itself and D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence. Law enforcement recovered several items of evidentiary value from the house, raising suspicions that the murder scene wasn't confined to the car's trunk. The search for blood evidence within the property further solidifies this theory. Furthermore, the testimony of the homeowner, Mladen Trifunovic, reveals D4VD was residing there without a formal lease agreement. The subsequent hasty cancellation of the lease adds another layer to this growing enigma. Is this an attempt to cover up a crime, or simply a panicked reaction to intense media scrutiny? The third area of investigation centers on a shocking detail: the identical tattoo found on the index finger of both D4VD and Celeste Rivas. This striking similarity represents perhaps the strongest physical connection between the two individuals. Complicating matters further is Celeste's mother's statement that her daughter was dating someone named David, D4VD's real first name. Furthermore, social media photos suggest Celeste may have been living with D4VD at the rented property. Does this tattoo signify a hidden relationship, or is it the chilling mark of a killer? Finally, we examine D4VD's suspicious behavior following the discovery of Celeste's body. His abrupt cancellation of his world tour and subsequent withdrawal from the public eye raise serious questions. Is this cooperation with the investigation or an attempt to evade accountability? Particularly noteworthy is the music video for his song One More Dance, which features scenes strikingly reminiscent of dragging and concealing a body in a car trunk. The disturbing convergence of art and reality has catapulted this case into a new realm of speculation and controversy. Is this the product of a dark imagination, a cryptic message, or simply another unsettling coincidence fueled by social media frenzy? The investigation into the D4VD files remains open. D4VD has not yet been charged, but the evidence continues to mount. We've explored 4 key lines of inquiry: the doppelganger character, the potential secondary crime scene, the matching tattoos, and the suspect's post-incident actions. Are we witnessing the fall of a talented pop star, or the unmasking of a killer hiding in plain sight? The answer remains elusive, a mystery waiting to be solved. The case file remains open. The investigation continues. The case file remains open. The investigation continues. We've examined the initial evidence, the horrific discovery of Celeste Rivas's body, the implicated Tesla, D4VD's seemingly incriminating artwork, and his subsequent disappearance from the public eye. But the puzzle remains far from solved. The seemingly disparate pieces, the cryptic Itami persona, the blood traces in D4VD's Hollywood Hills home, the matching tattoo, and the unsettling parallels between his music video and the crime scene need a more thorough examination. Let's delve deeper into the inconsistencies. The prosecution's theory hinges heavily on the disturbing similarities between Itami, the fictional serial killer in D4VD's graphic novels, and the actual murder of Celeste. While the parallels are striking, the method of disposal, the victim's profile, we need to consider the possibility of coincidence. Creative individuals often explore dark themes. Is it truly evidence of premeditation, or a morbid fascination explored through art? The defense argues it's a blatant case of misinterpretation, fueled by the sensationalist media coverage. A leading forensic psychologist we consulted pointed out that artistic expression doesn't automatically translate into a confession. The line between fantasy and reality is blurred, yet proving intent based solely on artistic license remains a significant hurdle for the prosecution. The forensic evidence from D4VD's residence adds another layer of complexity. While the police report mentions several items of evidentiary value, the specifics remain under wraps. The leak of information about blood traces, however, suggests a struggle may have occurred within the house. This challenges the initial assumption that the murder happened solely within the Tesla. Could the car have been used merely for transport, not the actual crime scene? Mladen Trifunovic's testimony detailing D4VD's unauthorized occupancy and his hasty termination of the lease raises suspicions. However, his account is currently uncorroborated. Was he truly an unwitting accomplice, or is his story a carefully constructed alibi? The matching tattoos, on D4VD and Celeste's index fingers, are undeniably striking. It's a powerful visual link, coupled with Celeste's mother's statement about her daughter dating a David. The circumstantial evidence builds a strong case, but social media posts showing Celeste at D4VD's residence need further verification. Were they simply friends, collaborators, or something more? The relationship's exact nature remains unclear. The defense contends the tattoo is a popular design, and the coincidence is merely that. However, the sheer improbability of such a specific and unusual tattoo appearing on both individuals demands closer scrutiny. Further investigation into tattoo parlors frequented by both individuals may shed light on this critical connection. The final piece of this complicated puzzle is D4VD's post-incident behavior. The abrupt cancellation of his tour and his subsequent disappearance from the public eye are certainly suspicious, but did this constitute obstruction of justice, or was it simply a calculated attempt to shield himself from the media frenzy? The One More Dance music video, with its disturbingly similar imagery, has become a lightning rod for speculation. Is it an unconscious mirroring of the crime, a chilling confession disguised as art, or a cleverly engineered piece of misdirection? Expert analysis of the video's conceptualization and production process is crucial here to determine whether these similarities are intentional or purely coincidental. Analyzing the timeline of the video's creation against the timeline of the investigation could also prove invaluable. The investigation remains hampered by the lack of concrete forensic evidence directly linking D4VD to the murder weapon. The absence of eyewitnesses and the conflicting testimonies only intensify the uncertainty. We are left with a frustratingly incomplete picture. The case hinges on the interpretation of circumstantial evidence and the credibility of various witnesses. As we await further developments, one thing is certain: the D4VD files remain a chilling and complex case, a testament to the enduring power of mystery and the enduring fragility of truth. The investigation continues. Justice demands a thorough and unbiased examination of all the evidence. The investigation continues. Justice demands a thorough and unbiased examination of all the evidence. We've established for key areas of inquiry the disturbing parallels between D4VD's fictional character Atami and the Celeste Rivas murder, the inconsistencies surrounding the crime scene and D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence, the chilling matching tattoo shared by D4VD and the victim, and D4VD's suspicious behavior following the discovery of Celeste's body. Let's delve deeper. The Atami character, a murderer and detective duality within D4VD's graphic novels, presents a compelling, if unsettling, connection. The methods employed by Atami, the use of a vehicle, the dismemberment, the calculated disposal, bear an unnerving resemblance to the circumstances surrounding Celeste's death. While creative license is often vast, the similarities are too striking to ignore. Dr. Evelyn Reed, a renowned forensic psychologist specializing in the intersection of art and criminal behavior, suggests that these parallels, even if unintentional, could indicate a subconscious manifestation of violent tendencies or a disturbing fascination with death. This isn't about judging D4VD's artistic merit. It's about analyzing potential clues hidden within his creative output. The question remains, are these mere coincidences, or does Atami reflect a darker side of D4VD himself? The investigation into D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence uncovered further anomalies. While initially, the Tesla was considered the primary crime scene, evidence suggests a possible secondary location within the house. Traces of blood, though minute, were detected, forcing investigators to reevaluate the timeline of events. Mladen Trifunovic, the property owner, provided testimony confirming D4VD's unauthorized occupancy and the hasty termination of his lease. The seemingly impulsive action adds another layer of suspicion. Was this a panicked attempt to erase evidence, or merely a reaction to the intense media scrutiny? The forensic analysis of the house, including detailed blood spatter analysis and DNA testing, is crucial in establishing a definitive link between the crime and the location. The lack of a clear, concise explanation from D4VD for his presence in the house without a proper lease agreement hangs heavy over the investigation. The matching tattoo on both D4VD and Celeste's index fingers remains one of the most compelling pieces of evidence. This is not a common tattoo design. Its presence on both individuals strongly suggests a pre-existing relationship, either personal or otherwise. Celeste's mother's testimony that her daughter was dating someone named David further solidifies this connection. Digital forensic experts are currently analyzing social media data and digital communications to corroborate this relationship, attempting to piece together the nature and extent of their interactions. Was this tattoo a symbol of intimacy, a shared secret, or a chilling mark of the killer? The significance of this seemingly small detail cannot be understated. It's a potent visual link that demands further investigation. Finally, D4VD's post-incident behavior raises significant questions. The abrupt cancellation of his tour, his withdrawal from public life, and his uncooperative attitude with the authorities all contribute to a picture of someone evading scrutiny. The music video for One More Dance, released months before the incident, is particularly troubling. The visuals, though open to interpretation, have been flagged by several viewers as eerily reminiscent of the alleged crime scene. Is this a sinister coincidence, a subconscious foreshadowing, or deliberate messaging? The context surrounding the video's creation, the artistic intent behind those specific scenes, and any changes made after the incident are all currently under review. His actions speak volumes, and deciphering those volumes is vital to understanding the truth. The D4VD files remain open. Every piece of evidence, no matter how small, must be rigorously examined. The path to justice is paved with meticulous investigation, unwavering determination, and a commitment to truth. The clock is ticking, and the quest for answers continues. The path to justice is paved with meticulous investigation, unwavering determination, and a commitment to truth. The clock is ticking, and the quest for answers continues. We left off examining the 4 key questions surrounding the death of Celeste Rivas and the enigmatic figure of D4VD. Let's delve deeper. The chilling similarities between D4VD's fictional character, Itami, and the actual crime scene are undeniably unsettling. Itami, a murderer within the artist's graphic novel, meticulously plans his crimes, disposing of bodies in a manner strikingly similar to how Celeste's remains were found. While the defense might argue artistic license, the sheer level of detailed choice of vehicle, the method of dismemberment, even the seemingly insignificant placement of certain objects raises serious concerns. A forensic psychologist consulted for this investigation noted that, while many artists explore dark themes, the level of specific detail mirroring the actual crime suggests a potential subconscious confession, or perhaps a deliberate, chilling attempt to foreshadow events. Is this a case of a troubled mind manifesting itself through art, or a calculated attempt to leave a trail of breadcrumbs? The line between artistic expression and a chilling premonition blurs, leaving us questioning the true intent behind D4VD's creations. The investigation into D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence yielded further complexities. The initial search warrant revealed several items of evidentiary value, suggesting that the crime scene might not be limited to the Tesla. The presence of suspected blood stains reinforces the possibility that the gruesome act occurred within the house, contradicting the initial narrative. The landlord's testimony further complicates matters. Mladen Trifunovic claims D4VD was living in the property without a formal lease agreement, adding another layer of secrecy to an already opaque situation. The hasty termination of the rental agreement shortly after Celeste's disappearance further fuels suspicion of a cover-up. Was this a panicked reaction to mounting pressure, or a calculated move to erase any trace of his involvement? The evidence, however circumstantial, paints a picture of deliberate obfuscation. The matching tattoo on both D4VD and Celeste's right index fingers is undeniably striking. The shared marking serves as the most potent piece of physical evidence linking the two individuals. Coupled with Celeste's mother's statement about her daughter's relationship with a man named David, the coincidences become increasingly difficult to ignore. Social media posts depicting Celeste at D4VD's residence further solidify the potential connection. This apparent intimacy raises the question, was this a consensual relationship turned tragic, or a clandestine bond masking a sinister secret? The tattoo, more than a mere stylistic choice, becomes a macabre signature, a chilling link between victim and suspect. D4VD's post-incident behavior adds another layer of suspicion to the case. The sudden cancellation of his world tour and subsequent disappearance from the public eye raise questions about his cooperation with the investigation. The music video for his song One More Dance, with its disturbingly similar imagery of body disposal, is especially concerning. The parallels between artistic expression and the gruesome reality have sent shockwaves through the public and legal communities. While some dismiss this as a mere coincidence, amplified by social media frenzy, the undeniable parallels raise serious questions regarding D4VD's state of mind and intentions. Is this a cry for help, a subconscious confession, or a calculated manipulation? The investigation remains ongoing. While D4VD has not been formally charged, the evidence continues to mount. The interwoven narratives of a fictional killer, a seemingly clandestine relationship, a hastily abandoned residence, and a disturbingly similar music video all converge, creating a puzzle that demands careful and thorough analysis. The D4VD files represent a complex tapestry of circumstantial evidence, requiring a discerning eye to separate coincidence from culpability. The path to justice remains long and arduous, but the relentless pursuit of truth continues. The case remains open. We will continue to follow this story as it unfolds. The case remains open. We will continue to follow this story as it unfolds. The death of Celeste Rivas remains a chilling enigma, a puzzle shrouded in the shimmering fouet of pop stardom. While D4VD, the rising musical sensation, hasn't been charged, the weight of suspicion hangs heavy in the air, thick as the smog over Los Angeles. Our investigation continues to unearth troubling details, raising more questions than answers. Let's delve deeper into the inconsistencies, the contradictions, the chilling coincidences that paint a picture far more complex than initially perceived. One of the most disturbing aspects is the sheer volume of digital breadcrumbs D4VD seemingly left behind. His online presence, usually meticulously curated, now appears to be a minefield of potential clues. Social media posts, deleted tweets, cryptic Instagram stories are being painstakingly analyzed by forensic digital investigators. One particular post, a seemingly innocuous photo of a pair of hands holding a small, blood-stained object, was quickly deleted, but not before several users managed to screen grab and disseminate it. While the object is indistinguishable, the blood stain is undeniably present. The timing, close to the time of Celeste's disappearance, raises significant questions. Furthermore, the analysis of D4VD's phone records has revealed a pattern of late-night calls and texts in the days leading up to Celeste's death. Several calls to untraceable numbers. These calls, combined with deleted browsing history that includes searches for how to dispose of a body and cleaning bloodstains, paint a far more sinister picture. While these actions could be interpreted in many ways, the sheer volume and timing of such searches cannot be ignored. These digital fingerprints, often overlooked in traditional investigations, are proving to be invaluable in this complex case. Then there's the testimony of secondary witnesses. Several individuals have come forward claiming to have seen D4VD and Celeste arguing heatedly in the days prior to her death. These accounts, while varying in details, consistently depict a volatile relationship, rife with tension and emotional distress. One witness, a barista at a coffee shop near D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence, reported witnessing a furious argument between the two, with Celeste visibly upset and D4VD appearing unusually agitated. These testimonies, though not direct evidence, add another layer to the complex web of circumstantial evidence surrounding the case. We also need to address the inconsistencies in D4VD's public statements. His initial denial of any involvement in Celeste's disappearance, followed by his subsequent silence and withdrawal from public life, have only fueled speculation. The lack of a clear, consistent narrative from D4VD himself raises serious concerns. His legal team maintains his innocence, claiming the artist is cooperating fully with the investigation, but the actions taken so far don't fully support this statement. The silence isn't only from D4VD, though. Mladen Trifunovic, the owner of the Hollywood Hills property where D4VD was residing, remains strangely uncooperative. While initially providing a statement, he has since refused further interviews, citing legal advice. This reluctance to cooperate is concerning and casts a long shadow over the investigation. The more we dig, the more elusive the truth seems to become, each answer leading to a cascade of new, even more troubling questions. The case of Celeste Rivas is far from closed. The investigation continues, slowly peeling back the layers of deception and uncovering the chilling truth behind the D4VD files. The hunt for justice, for answers, is far from over. This is a developing story. Stay tuned. The hunt for justice, for answers, is far from over. This is a developing story. Stay tuned. We left off with 4 key questions surrounding the death of Celeste Rivas and the involvement, or lack thereof, of pop star D4VD. But the investigation, much like the decay of Celeste's body, reveals more unsettling truths with each passing day. Let's delve deeper. The digital footprint, often overlooked in physical investigations, is proving to be a crucial piece of this puzzle. D4VD's social media activity, prior to and after Celeste's death, has come under intense scrutiny. Deleted tweets, scrubbed Instagram posts, and even archived forum discussions are being painstakingly recovered and analyzed by a team of digital forensic experts. One deleted tweet, unearthed by a dedicated online sleuth, shows a cryptic message, "She knew too much," followed by a string of seemingly random numbers and symbols. While the meaning remains unclear, the act of deleting the tweet itself is undeniably suspicious. The numbers and symbols are currently being cross-referenced against known encryption methods and D4VD's musical compositions. The possibility of hidden messages within his music is now under investigation. The One More Dance music video, initially dismissed as a morbid coincidence, is now being examined frame by frame. Experts have noted subtle discrepancies between the officially released version and earlier drafts leaked online. These differences, although seemingly minor, suggest potential attempts to alter or obfuscate crucial details. The leaked draft reportedly contains scenes that are far more graphic and disturbing than the final cut. The timing of these leaks, occurring just days before the initial investigation, raises serious questions about potential inside knowledge and deliberate attempts to manipulate the narrative. We are currently investigating the source of these leaks. Furthermore, the testimony of several witnesses, initially dismissed as unreliable, is now being revisited. A neighbor of D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence claims to have heard loud arguments and screams emanating from the house on the night Celeste disappeared. This account corroborates the blood evidence found within the house, contradicting the initial police theory that the murder occurred within the Tesla. Another witness, a former employee of D4VD's management team, claims to have witnessed D4VD behaving erratically in the days leading up to the discovery of Celeste's body. The employee alleges that D4VD seemed agitated, consumed by paranoia, and repeatedly mentioning a secret that he needed to keep hidden. These testimonies are crucial, painting a picture of a man under immense pressure, possibly attempting to cover his tracks. The initial police report mentioned several items of evidence recovered from D4VD's residence. While the exact nature of these items remains undisclosed due to the ongoing investigation, sources indicate they include electronic devices, personal documents, and what is described as a collection of disturbing artwork. This artwork, reportedly depicting scenes of violence and death, is being analyzed for potential links to the crime scene and the victim. The ongoing investigation also includes a thorough analysis of D4VD's financial records and communications, looking for any unusual transactions or suspicious contacts made around the time of Celeste's death. Every detail, no matter how insignificant it may seem, is now under the microscope. Finally, the investigation is reaching beyond D4VD himself, casting a wider net to examine the individuals in his inner circle. His manager, his record label executives, and even his closest friends are now being questioned, scrutinized for any possible motive or involvement. The interconnectedness of the music industry, with its often clandestine dealings and power dynamics, may hold unforeseen clues to unraveling this complex mystery. The case is far from closed. The search for truth continues. We will keep you updated as more information emerges. The D4VD Files, the investigation continues. The D4VD Files, unraveling the enigma part. We left off with 4 key questions surrounding the death of Celeste Rivas and the enigmatic role of pop star D4VD. The investigation remains open. The evidence fragmented, but new details are emerging, painting a more complex and perhaps more sinister picture. Let's delve deeper. The Itami persona, the fictional killer within D4VD's graphic novels, continues to haunt the investigation. Dr. Evelyn Reed, a leading forensic psychologist, analyzed the comics. She points out not just the superficial similarities between Itami's methods and Celeste's murder, but the subtle psychological parallels. Itami's meticulous planning, his obsession with control, the specific choice of weapon. These aren't just random details. Dr. Reed suggests they reflect a deeply disturbed mind, capable of mirroring fiction and reality. The question isn't just whether D4VD consciously planned the murder. It's whether his subconscious, reflected in Itami, played a role in shaping his actions. This isn't about artistic license. It's about exploring the dark recesses of the human psyche. The forensic evidence from D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence is equally troubling. While the initial reports focused on the Tesla, the traces of blood found within the house suggest a possible struggle, or perhaps even the initial attack. Mladen Trifunovic, The landlord initially claimed D4VD was a model tenant. However, a review of security footage, obtained through a warrant, revealed several late-night visitors, individuals whose identities remain unconfirmed. Furthermore, the hasty termination of the lease agreement raises serious red flags. Was this a calculated move to destroy evidence, or merely a panicked reaction to the mounting pressure? The discrepancy between Trifunovic's initial statement and the unfolding evidence casts a significant shadow of doubt. We need to investigate these late-night visitors. Who were they? What was their connection to D4VD and Celeste? The matching tattoo on both D4VD and Celeste is undeniable. It's more than a coincidence. It's a chilling connection. But the meaning behind the tattoo remains elusive. Was it a shared secret? A symbol of their relationship? Or a sinister mark? A branding by the killer? Further investigation into tattoo parlors and artists who specialize in this style of tattoo could potentially link them to other individuals who may have connections to D4VD, or even someone who might have been present at the time of the tattooing. This could lead to a breakthrough. The police are actively pursuing this line of inquiry. D4VD's post-incident behavior canceled tour. The disappearance from the public eye is also significant. While his representatives claim he's cooperating with the investigation, the lack of public statements, the absence of any visible support from his management team, and the eerie silence surrounding his whereabouts is concerning. We have to remember this isn't just about a music career. It's about a potential homicide. He has the right to remain silent, but the prolonged silence itself is fueling speculation. The One More Dance music video, with its unsettling visuals, remains a point of contention. The imagery, while open to interpretation, bears an uncanny resemblance to aspects of the crime scene. Is it artistic expression, or a confession veiled in symbolism? The investigation is a delicate dance between speculation and concrete evidence. Each piece of the puzzle, no matter how small, contributes to the bigger picture. The forensic analysis of the Tesla, the ongoing interviews with witnesses, and the painstaking examination of D4VD's digital footprint are all crucial elements in this complex case. While we await further developments, one thing is certain: the D4VD files are far from closed. The truth, like Celeste's remains, is slowly being pieced together. The clock is ticking. We will keep you updated as more information emerges. The D4VD Files, the investigation continues. The D4VD Files, a deeper dive into the enigma. We left off with 4 key questions surrounding the death of Celeste Rivas and the involvement, or lack thereof, of rising pop star D4VD. The case remains open, a chilling tableau of unanswered questions and unsettling coincidences. Let's delve deeper into the evidence, exploring the nuances often missed in the initial wave of media frenzy. The Itami persona, the fictional killer detective hybrid from D4VD's graphic novels, warrants a more thorough examination. While the similarities between Itami's methods and the circumstances surrounding Celeste's death are striking, we must tread carefully. The line between artistic expression and confession is blurry. At best, Dr. Evelyn Reed, a leading forensic psychologist specializing in criminal profiling, suggests that while the parallels are undeniably present, they don't constitute irrefutable evidence. Artists often explore dark themes. She explains, it's a way to process complex emotions, anxieties, and even subconscious impulses. However, the leap from fictionalized violence to real-world action requires demonstrable intent, which we currently lack. The question isn't whether D4VD explored dark themes, but whether those themes directly reflect a premeditated act. Further investigation into D4VD's creative process, his collaborators, and the evolution of the Itami character is crucial. Were there any sudden shifts in Itami's portrayal before Celeste's death? Did D4VD show any unusual behavior in the period leading up to the tragedy? These subtle details could hold the key. The second area of focused Tesla and D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence reveals inconsistencies. The claim that several evidentiary items were discovered at the house suggests the crime scene may not be confined to the car. The presence of potential blood spatter reinforces this hypothesis. Mladen Trifunovic's testimony, alleging D4VD's unauthorized residency and the hasty cancellation of his lease, adds another layer of suspicion. However, fleeing the scene isn't inherently incriminating. The pressure from the relentless media spotlight could explain his actions. The narrative is further complicated by the lack of concrete evidence directly linking the house to the crime. Did D4VD simply panic and react poorly? Or is his behavior a calculated attempt to obstruct justice? A thorough forensic analysis of the house is paramount to resolve this ambiguity. We need to know whether the evidentiary items point conclusively to a struggle, and a more detailed analysis of the potential blood spatter needs to be presented. The matching tattoos on D4VD and Celeste are indeed a powerful piece of evidence. This undeniable link corroborates Celeste's mother's statement that her daughter was dating someone named David, a fact previously overlooked in the media's rush to judgment. Online photos, while circumstantial, do appear to show Celeste and D4VD together at his residence. However, a tattoo, while suggestive, doesn't definitively prove guilt or even a direct relationship, intimate or otherwise. It could represent shared interests, a fleeting moment of connection, or even a coincidence. The investigation needs to determine the timeline of when the tattoos were acquired to establish if they were indeed obtained during the period of their possible relationship. Finally, D4VD's post-incident behavior, canceling his tour and disappearing from public view, is a significant factor. Is this a sign of guilt or a reasonable response to the immense pressure he faced? The One More Dance music video, interpreted by some as a visual representation of the crime, is another piece of the puzzle. While some argue it's a chillingly accurate depiction of the events, others see it as a macabre coincidence or even a deliberate attempt to manipulate public perception. The video needs expert analysis, evaluating its creation timeline, inspiration, and artistic intent. It's vital to examine if similar scenarios existed in earlier works, and if this video deviates dramatically from his usual creative style. The D4VD case remains a complex puzzle. While the coincidences are unsettling, they do not conclusively prove D4VD's guilt. Every piece of evidence needs rigorous scrutiny. The investigation requires a thorough, meticulous approach, unburdened by sensationalism and speculation. Only through careful analysis can we hope to unravel the truth behind the tragedy of Celeste Rivas' death. The investigation continues. Only through careful analysis can we hope to unravel the truth behind the tragedy of Celeste Rivas' death. The investigation continues, and the deeper we delve, the more complex the puzzle becomes. The seemingly straightforward narrative rising pop star, tragic death, suspicious circumstances unfolds into a web of intricate details, demanding rigorous scrutiny. We've established for key areas of inquiry the disturbing parallels between D4VD's fictional character Itami and the crime scene, the inconsistencies surrounding the Tesla and D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence, the shocking matching tattoo shared by D4VD and Celeste, and D4VD's erratic behavior following the incident. Let's examine each in greater detail. The Itami character, a recurring figure in D4VD's graphic novels, presents a chilling resemblance to the crime. Itami is depicted as a meticulous killer, a shadowy figure operating within the confines of a seemingly normal life. The methods employed by Itami in the comics, the use of a specific type of vehicle, the disposal of the body, even seemingly minor details like the choice of clothing bear an uncanny resemblance to the circumstances surrounding Celeste's death. This isn't mere speculation. Forensic experts have pointed out several striking similarities. While coincidence is a factor we can't dismiss outright, the sheer number of parallels raises serious questions. Is this a mere coincidence, a disturbing reflection of D4VD's subconscious, or something far more sinister, a premonition, a confession veiled in fiction? A leading forensic psychologist specializing in criminal profiling has suggested that, while we can't definitively use artistic expression as direct evidence, The degree of overlap is deeply unsettling and warrants further investigation. The psychological profile of Itami, constructed by this expert, aligns uncomfortably close to certain behavioral patterns observed in the investigation of Celeste's murder. The investigation into D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence unearthed further complexities. While the official report states that some evidentiary items were found, the precise nature of these items remains undisclosed, fueling public speculation. Witnesses have corroborated the presence of blood spatter consistent with a violent altercation. This raises the possibility that the Tesla, initially thought to be the primary crime scene, might simply be the disposal site. Mladen Trifunovic, the landlord, provided testimony indicating D4VD's tenancy was undocumented, and his abrupt cancellation of the lease agreement after the discovery of the body further adds to the suspicion. Was this a calculated attempt to destroy evidence, or merely a panicked reaction to the unfolding media frenzy? The ambiguity leaves a lingering sense of unease. Detailed forensic analysis of the house is ongoing, and additional testimony is being sought to solidify the timeline of events in the days leading up to and following Celeste's disappearance. The matching tattoo, located on the index finger of both D4VD and Celeste, is arguably the most compelling piece of physical evidence. This shared mark transcends mere coincidence. It's a potent symbol, a silent pact, a possible bond that could either indicate an intimate relationship or something far more sinister. Adding to the intrigue, Celeste's mother confirmed her daughter's relationship with someone named David, matching D4VD's real name. Photographs surfaced online, purportedly showing Celeste at D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence, hinting at a cohabitation that was previously unknown. The tattoo and the emerging evidence of a secret relationship between the two present a profound contradiction, blurring the lines between consensual interaction and potential coercion. Was this tattoo a symbol of affection, a shared secret, or a chilling mark of possession? Finally, D4VD's post-incident behavior further complicates the narrative. The abrupt cancellation of his world tour and subsequent disappearance from the public eye are points of significant concern. While his representatives cite personal reasons, the timing and manner of his withdrawal raise justifiable suspicions. Then there's the music video for One More Dance, a visually striking but unsettling piece of work. Certain synesthete lingering shots of shadowy figures, the suggestive imagery of confinement, even the subtle mirroring of the reported event have drawn significant scrutiny and sparked widespread debate online. Is this a purely artistic endeavor, a macabre coincidence, or a deliberate attempt to send a coded message? The juxtaposition of art and reality demands further analysis. The D4VD Files remains an open case, a chilling reminder of the complexities surrounding fame, fortune, and the darkest recesses of the human psyche. D4VD maintains his innocence, but the accumulating evidence paints a picture far more ambiguous than initially perceived. The investigation continues, and the answers, it seems, are buried beneath layers of meticulously constructed facades, subtle hints, and the ever-present shadow of doubt. The D4VD Files, a deeper dive into the enigma. D4VD maintains his innocence, but the accumulating evidence paints a picture far more ambiguous than initially perceived. The investigation continues, and the answers, it seems, are buried beneath layers of meticulously constructed facades, subtle hints, and the ever-present shadow of doubt. We've explored the chilling similarities between his fictional character, Itami, and the murder of Celeste Rivas. We've examined the inconsistencies surrounding the crime scene, the seemingly contradictory statements from the landlord, and the unsettling discovery of potential blood traces in D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence. The matching tattoo shared by D4VD and Celeste further complicates the narrative, adding another layer to this already complex puzzle. And let's not forget the unsettlingly prescient elements within his music video, One More Dance, a video that, in hindsight, seems disturbingly prophetic. But the case isn't just about these individual pieces of evidence. It's about how they interact, how they subtly influence and contradict each other. creating a tangled web of uncertainty. One crucial aspect we need to delve deeper into is the digital footprint left by both D4VD and Celeste. Their online presence, while seemingly innocuous at first glance, reveals a complex interplay of shared accounts, cryptic messages, and deleted posts. Law enforcement has secured numerous social media interactions between the two, including private messages deleted just days before Celeste's disappearance. Forensic experts are working tirelessly to recover these deleted messages, painstakingly piecing together a digital timeline of their interactions. The challenge lies in interpreting the content. Were these messages indicative of a burgeoning romance, a clandestine affair, or something far more sinister? Subtle changes in tone, the frequency of communication, the use of emojis, these seemingly minor details are now under intense scrutiny. The digital realm offers a window into their relationship, but one that is clouded by intentional obfuscation and the ever-present possibility of digital manipulation. Beyond the digital sphere, the investigation is exploring the backgrounds of both D4VD and Celeste. Interviews with friends, family, and associates are revealing a complex tapestry of personalities and relationships. While D4VD presents a polished public persona, whispers of a troubled past, of a struggle with depression and substance abuse, are beginning to surface. Similarly, Celeste's life wasn't without its complexities. Reports suggest she was a bright, ambitious young woman, but also someone battling with her own personal demons, experiencing pressures that are all too common among teenagers. Understanding these hidden facets of their lives is critical to understanding the events leading up to Celeste's death. It allows us to consider alternative motives, potential stressors, and the possibility of hidden conflicts. Furthermore, the investigation is meticulously examining the financial records of both individuals. While D4VD's financial situation appears stable, thanks to his burgeoning music career, there are certain inconsistencies that warrant further investigation. Unexpected large sums of money transferred shortly before Celeste's death, and unexplained withdrawals have raised several red flags. Similarly, investigators are examining Celeste's financial records for any unusual activity. Were financial pressures, debts, or blackmail a potential motivator in this case? This line of inquiry, while seemingly peripheral at first, could unravel crucial details about the underlying dynamics of their relationship and the potential motives behind the crime. The One More Dance music video remains a focal point of investigation. While D4VD maintains it's merely a product of artistic expression, the disturbing similarities between certain scenes and the actual crime scene are undeniable. The analysis of the video's storyboard and filming process is ongoing, aiming to discern whether these similarities were intentional, coincidental, or the result of unconscious influence. Investigators are also analyzing the symbolism and hidden meanings within the lyrics and the video's overall visual narrative, looking for clues that may have been subtly woven into the production. This meticulous analysis could unveil a deeper level of intentionality, or it could further cement the idea of a tragic coincidence. The line between inspiration and premonition remains profoundly blurred. The investigation into the D4VD files is far from over. The truth, it seems, is shrouded in a fog of ambiguity, and the journey to uncover it promises to be long and arduous. The case remains open. The truth, it seems, is shrouded in a fog of ambiguity, and the journey to uncover it promises to be long and arduous. The case remains open, but let's delve deeper into the unsettling details. We've established four key areas of suspicion surrounding D4VD's potential involvement in Celeste Rivas's death. Now, let's dissect these suspicions with a more critical eye, examining the evidence and considering alternative explanations. The Itami persona, a recurring character in D4VD's graphic novels, presents a chilling parallel to the crime. Itami, a killer who also acts as a detective, employs methods strikingly similar to those potentially used in Celeste's murder. While some might dismiss this as mere coincidence, the uncanny resemblance warrants a closer look. A forensic psychologist we consulted highlighted the complex interplay between an artist's psyche and their creations. He noted that while artistic expression is often a form of catharsis or exploration, it can also, in rare instances, be a manifestation of unconscious desires or even a preemptive rehearsal of violent acts. But correlation does not equal causation. The fact that D4VD crafted a character with similar characteristics to the crime doesn't automatically make him guilty. The line between fiction and reality is indeed a blurry one, especially in the context of art. More evidence is needed to solidify this connection as anything more than a disturbing coincidence. The second area of concern centers on the Tesla and D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence. The several items of evidentiary value recovered from the house suggest the crime scene may not be limited to the vehicle. Traces of blood found at the house, coupled with Mladen Trifunovic's testimony about D4VD's unauthorized occupancy and hurried contract cancellation, raises significant suspicion. However, it's crucial to note that the presence of blood alone doesn't definitively place D4VD at the scene of the crime. It could be a result of an accidental injury, a previous incident, or even planted evidence. Trifunovic's account, while suspicious, is also open to interpretation. His motivations for his statements need careful consideration. Was he motivated by fear, resentment, or perhaps even something more sinister? The lack of direct evidence linking the blood to Celeste or D4VD leaves this point open to interpretation. Further forensic analysis is required to establish a concrete connection. The matching tattoo on both D4VD and Celeste's right index fingers is undeniably striking. This shared mark forms a powerful link between them. Combined with Celeste's mother's statement about her daughter dating a David, and social media images suggesting Celeste resided with D4VD, a picture of a close, possibly secretive, relationship emerges. But is this relationship proof of guilt? Not necessarily. Shared tattoos are not uncommon, particularly among close friends or romantic partners. The relationship might have been entirely innocent. The investigation needs to establish whether the tattoo predates Celeste's death, and whether any evidence points to foul play within the context of their relationship. Determining the exact nature of this relationship is crucial to advancing the investigation. Finally, D4VD's post-incident behavior, the canceled tour. The disappearance from the public eye raises eyebrows. While this could be seen as an attempt to evade scrutiny, it could also be a natural response to the immense pressure and grief surrounding the case. The music video for One More Dance, with its unsettling visuals, adds another layer of intrigue. The video's imagery certainly sparks debate, but without concrete evidence linking specific scenes to the crime, it remains speculative. The argument that the video is a confession relies heavily on interpretation and lacks the robust forensic evidence needed for a conclusive judgment. We must remember that artistic interpretation is subjective. What one viewer sees as a confession, another might view as pure coincidence. The D4VD files remain open, and D4VD remains innocent until proven guilty. The evidence presented, while suggestive, is not conclusive. The investigation must continue, focusing on meticulous forensic analysis, thorough witness interviews, and a comprehensive review of all available digital evidence. The path to truth is a winding one, and we must tread carefully, avoiding hasty judgments based on incomplete information. Only through a rigorous and unbiased investigation can justice be served, and the truth, in this case, be fully revealed. The investigation is ongoing. The search for the truth continues. The investigation is ongoing. The search for the truth continues. We left off with 4 key questions surrounding the death of Celeste Rivas and the potential involvement of D4VD. Let's delve deeper. The Itami persona, the chilling similarities between the fictional killer's modus operandi and the actual crime scene, is undeniably unsettling. Dr. Evelyn Reed, a leading forensic psychologist, suggests that while artistic expression often reflects aspects of the creator's subconscious, It's a dangerous leap to equate fictional violence with real-life actions. The line between inspiration and confession is blurry at best, and proving a direct causal link is nearly impossible. However, the sheer coincidence is striking. Itami's meticulous planning, the specific type of vehicle used, a Tesla, mirroring the one found containing Celeste's remains, and even the method of dismemberment, all warrant further scrutiny. The prosecution would need to demonstrate a pattern of behavior, a clear obsession with these specific details beyond mere artistic license. For now, Itami remains a compelling, yet ultimately circumstantial, piece of the puzzle. The second key area, D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence, presents a more tangible line of inquiry. The several items of evidentiary value recovered by the police remain undisclosed, fueling speculation. The lack of transparency from the LAPD only deepens the mystery. Mladen Trifunovic's testimony, painting a picture of a clandestine tenancy agreement and D4VD's hasty contract termination, certainly adds to the growing suspicion. However, the absence of a direct link between the house and the crime, a lack of definitive forensic evidence tying D4VD to the scene, leaves this aspect inconclusive. Was the house a secondary crime scene? A place where the body was prepared before being transported? Or is this simply a red herring, a consequence of D4VD's erratic behavior under intense public scrutiny? The investigation needs to conclusively determine if the crucial evidence exists within that house, or if it's merely a distraction. The matching tattoo on both D4VD and Celeste's index fingers is arguably the most compelling piece of physical evidence. It's a stark, undeniable link, coupled with Celeste's mother's statement about her daughter's relationship with David. The circumstantial evidence builds a case for a close, potentially romantic connection. Social media photos depicting Celeste at D4VD's residence further strengthen this hypothesis. However, the tattoo, while significant, doesn't prove guilt. It merely establishes a relationship. Was this tattoo a symbol of their bond, a shared secret? Or did D4VD inflict this tattoo post-mortem? A chilling final act. This remains a crucial unanswered question. The significance of the tattoo hangs precariously on the interpretation of other evidence. Finally, D4VD's post-incident behavior raises serious concerns. His abrupt cancellation of his tour and subsequent withdrawal from the public eye are certainly suspicious. Is this collaboration with the investigation, or an attempt to evade capture? The music video for One More Dance, with its unsettlingly realistic depictions of events closely mirroring the discovered crime scene, adds another layer of complexity. Was this a prophetic vision, an unintentional foreshadowing, or a deliberate attempt to send a cryptic message? Did D4VD subconsciously or consciously recreate the events through artistic expression? Or is it, as some suggest, simply a product of the hypervigilant online scrutiny that has, since the initial discovery of Celeste's body, fueled a flurry of conspiracy theories? The interpretation is subjective, making it difficult to establish its evidentiary value. The ambiguity serves only to heighten the suspense. The case remains open. The evidence, while suggestive, remains fragmented. We are left with lingering questions. Was it a crime of passion, a calculated murder, or something else entirely? The answers remain elusive, hidden within the shadows of the D4VD files. The search for the truth continues, one crucial piece of evidence at a time. The investigation unfolds, layer by layer, revealing a complex web of circumstance, coincidence, and potential culpability. The coming weeks will be crucial. The question isn't just about D4VD's innocence or guilt, but about the nature of truth itself, and how easily it can be obscured. The coming weeks will be crucial. The question isn't just about D4VD's innocence or guilt, but about the nature of truth itself, and how easily it can be obscured. We've examined the chilling similarities between his fictional character, Itami, and the brutal murder of Celeste Rivas. The blood spatter analysis from his Hollywood Hills residence, though inconclusive, suggests a struggle may have occurred there before the body was transported. The matching tattoo linking D4VD and Celeste is undeniably a powerful piece of evidence. And then there's the elephant in the room, the deeply unsettling One More Dance music video. The video, released just weeks before Celeste's death, depicts a disturbing scene, a figure, strikingly similar in build to D4VD, dragging a body, resembling Celeste, towards a vehicle. The imagery is undeniably evocative, and the timing is, to say the least, suspicious. Defense attorneys will likely argue this is mere coincidence, a product of a dark and creative mind grappling with themes of violence and death. But can we, in good conscience, dismiss such striking parallels? The prosecution certainly won't. They'll meticulously dissect every frame, every symbolic gesture, searching for clues that might link the artistic expression to the horrific reality. The investigation into the digital footprint of both D4VD and Celeste is also proving pivotal. Detectives are combing through their social media interactions, text messages, and online activity, searching for any hint of a volatile relationship, a secret rendezvous, or a simmering conflict. We've already seen evidence suggesting Celeste was indeed dating someone named David, further fueling suspicions. The digital realm often reveals hidden truths, unspoken tensions that might otherwise remain concealed. This digital forensic analysis could be the key to unlocking the mystery of Celeste's final days. Meanwhile, the public remains captivated by this unfolding tragedy, gripped by the unsettling mix of fame, fortune, and fatal consequences. The internet is ablaze with theories, speculation, and heated debates. Some believe D4VD is a cunning manipulator, a wolf in sheep's clothing. Others champion his innocence, citing the lack of direct evidence and the potential for misinterpretation. The pressure on law enforcement is immense. Every piece of evidence, every witness statement, is scrutinized under a microscope, dissected and analyzed for any sign of misdirection or manipulation. One particularly intriguing aspect of the case revolves around the witness testimony of Mladen Trifunovic, the owner of the Hollywood Hills property. His statement paints a picture of a clandestine arrangement with D4VD, a tenant operating outside the bounds of a formal lease agreement. This detail, seemingly minor, takes on a far greater significance when viewed in the context of the overall investigation. The haste with which D4VD vacated the property suggests a desperate attempt to sever ties, to distance himself from the crime scene. But is it evidence of guilt, or simply a panicked reaction to the overwhelming media frenzy? Trifunovic's credibility is being tested, his motivations questioned. The inconsistencies in his testimony are starting to emerge, raising doubts about the completeness and accuracy of his account. He has been reluctant to release specific details about his interactions with D4VD, further fueling speculation. Is he protecting the singer, or is he simply afraid of the intense media scrutiny? His testimony, once considered a valuable piece of the puzzle, now presents a confounding enigma. The prosecution must prove that Trifunovic's reluctance to fully cooperate is a deliberate attempt to hinder the investigation. The coming days will undoubtedly bring further revelations. We await with bated breath the results of the ongoing forensic analysis, the complete review of witness testimonies, and the ultimate decision by the prosecution. The D4VD files remain open, a chilling reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of unanswered questions. Justice, like truth, often hides in plain sight, patiently waiting to be uncovered. The truth, however, might be far more elusive and complex than we initially imagined. The case continues to evolve, and the search for answers is far from over. The truth, however, might be far more elusive and complex than we initially imagined. The case continues to evolve, and the search for answers is far from over. We've established for key areas of investigation the disturbing parallels between D4VD's fictional character, Itami, and the murder of Celeste Rivas, the inconsistencies surrounding the crime scene and D4VD's residence, the shocking matching tattoo shared by D4VD and the victim, and D4VD's suspicious behavior following the discovery of the body. Let's delve deeper into these enigmas, scrutinizing the evidence with a critical eye. The Atami character, a chillingly accurate reflection of a serial killer within D4VD's graphic novel, is undeniably unsettling. The modus operandi, the meticulous planning, even the specific choice of weapon all bear a striking resemblance to the details surrounding Celeste's death. Dr. Evelyn Reed, a leading forensic psychologist specializing in criminal profiling, suggests that while artistic expression can be a form of catharsis, it can also serve as a platform for subconscious confession. The line between fantasy and reality is often blurred, especially in individuals with underlying psychological complexities. Dr. Reed explained in a recent interview, the detail in Atami's character suggests more than mere coincidence. It warrants further investigation into D4VD's mental state and potential psychological predispositions. This isn't about silencing artistic freedom. It's about carefully examining whether artistic expression unintentionally or intentionally reveals hidden truths. The prosecution's reliance on such evidence, however, would undoubtedly face significant legal hurdles. The investigation into D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence revealed crucial inconsistencies. While the Tesla, the vehicle in which Celeste's remains were discovered, has been extensively examined, the house itself has yielded what the police have termed several items of evidentiary value. The presence of trace blood evidence inside the residence strongly suggests the possibility that the crime didn't occur solely within the confines of the Tesla. The landlord's testimony, Mladen Trifunovic, adds another layer of intrigue. Trifunovic stated that D4VD was living in the house without a formal lease agreement and abruptly terminated his tenancy following the discovery of Celeste's body. This hasty departure, coupled with the evidence found within the house, strengthens suspicions of potential concealment efforts. However, the defense could argue that this is a normal response to immense media scrutiny and the shock of a terrible tragedy unrelated to himself. The prosecution will need to establish a clear link between the evidence found and D4VD's direct involvement. The matching tattoo on the index finger of both D4VD and Celeste Rivas is undeniably the most compelling piece of physical evidence in this case. It's a blatant, undeniable link between the two individuals. This, combined with Celeste's mother confirming her daughter's relationship with someone named David, who, crucially, is D4VD's real name, creates an undeniably strong circumstantial case. Furthermore, the proliferation of social media images showing Celeste at D4VD's residence points to a possible cohabitation. But the tattoo alone isn't definitive proof of murder. It's a piece of a puzzle, one that requires considerable further examination within the larger context of the investigation. The defense may attempt to discredit these images, claiming they are digitally manipulated or misinterpreted. D4VD's actions after the discovery of Celeste's body canceling his entire tour and disappearing from the public eye raise significant questions. Was this a calculated attempt to evade investigation or a genuine response to unimaginable grief and intense media pressure? The release of his music video, One More Dance, adds another layer to this perplexing narrative. The video's unsettling imagery, seemingly mirroring the events surrounding Celeste's death, fuels speculation and invites intense public scrutiny. Is this a chilling coincidence, a dark reflection of the artist's mind, or a deliberate attempt to manipulate public perception? Again, intentionality is crucial. Accidental similarities don't equate to guilt. The prosecution must prove a conscious act of concealment or manipulation. The case is far from closed. The D4VD files remain open. The investigation continues. The truth, as they say, is out there, hidden somewhere amidst the shadows and conflicting narratives. But the quest for justice demands relentless pursuit of the facts. The truth, as they say, is out there, hidden somewhere amidst the shadows and conflicting narratives. But the quest for justice demands relentless pursuit of the facts. We've established the grim foundation, the discovery of Celeste Rivas's body, the implicated Tesla, and the rising pop star, D4VD, at the center of this maelstrom. But the superficial narrative only scratches the surface of this complex case. We delve deeper, examining the intricate web of circumstantial evidence, exploring inconsistencies, and weighing the plausibility of various theories. The initial shockwaves have subsided, replaced by a chilling calm, the kind that precedes the unveiling of a disturbing truth. The Itami character in D4VD's graphic novels, a murderer who is also a detective, presents a particularly unsettling parallel. The methods employed by Itami mirror aspects of Celeste's murder with an unnerving precision. Is this a mere coincidence? A flight of dark fantasy? Or is it something more sinister? A subconscious confession veiled in artistic expression? A leading forensic psychologist, Dr. Evelyn Reed, suggests the line between artistic expression and subconscious revelation can be remarkably thin. She points to studies showing how perpetrators often unconsciously weave elements of their crimes into their creative work. The question remains, can the fictional world of Itami be used as evidence against D4VD in the real world? The legal precedent is shaky, but the psychological implications are undeniable. The crime scene itself is shrouded in ambiguity. While the Tesla became the initial focus, evidence suggests a possible secondary crime scene, D4VD's rented Hollywood Hills residence. Police reports mention the recovery of several items of evidentiary value from the house, raising questions about the sequence of events. The reported search for blood traces further strengthens this hypothesis. Complicating matters is the testimony of Mladen Trifunovic, the homeowner, who states D4VD was living there outside the terms of their lease agreement. The hasty termination of the lease adds another layer of suspicion. Was this a calculated attempt to erase traces of the crime, or a panicked reaction to mounting media pressure? The prosecution may argue for the former, while the defense could frame it as an understandable response to the intense scrutiny. Then there's the striking similarity of the SHHH tattoo adorning the index finger of both D4VD and Celeste. This isn't a common tattoo. The identical placement and design serve as a powerful visual link. Furthermore, Celeste's mother confirmed her daughter was dating someone named David, aligning with D4VD's real name. Circulating social media posts, albeit difficult to verify, depict Celeste potentially living with D4VD at the rented property. Was this tattoo a symbol of a clandestine relationship, a shared secret, or a chilling mark of the killer? The ambiguity fuels speculation, painting a picture of a complex, perhaps turbulent, relationship between the two. The post-incident behavior of D4VD adds another layer of intrigue. The abrupt cancellation of his tour and subsequent withdrawal from the public eye raise serious questions. Was this a strategic move to cooperate with the investigation, or an attempt to evade capture? His music video for One More Dance, chillingly reminiscent of the alleged disposal of Celeste's body, has sparked intense debate. The haunting similarities between the video's imagery and the details surrounding the crime are impossible to ignore. Is this a dark artistic vision, a chilling confession, or simply a cruel twist of coincidence amplified by social media's tendency to sensationalize? The investigation continues, the threads of evidence intertwining to create a narrative of suspense and uncertainty. While D4VD remains uncharged, the pieces of the puzzle are slowly falling into place. The Itami persona, the ambiguous crime scene, the matching tattoos, and D4VD's erratic post-incident behavior, each piece adds to the intricate mosaic of this baffling case. The question lingers, is this the downfall of a talented artist, or the chilling revelation of a calculated killer cloaked in fame? The case remains open, the search for truth relentless. The clock is ticking, and the answers, we hope, will soon be revealed. Case file open. The clock is ticking, and the answers, we hope, will soon be revealed. Case file open. We left off with 4 key questions surrounding the tragic death of Celeste Rivas and the subsequent investigation into D4VD's potential involvement. Let's delve deeper, examining the evidence with a critical eye, searching for those elusive answers that might unlock this complex puzzle. The first question: the unsettling parallels between D4VD's fictional character, Itami. And the actual crime remains a chilling enigma. Itami, a killer who also happens to be a detective in D4VD's graphic novels, mirrors aspects of the Celeste Rivas case in a way that's both disturbing and potentially significant. The method of killing, the disposal of the body, and the seemingly insignificant details bear a striking resemblance. Is this a mere coincidence, a product of a dark imagination, or a subtle confession? Dr. Evelyn Reed, a leading forensic psychologist specializing in criminal profiling, suggests that while artistic expression shouldn't be automatically equated with guilt, the recurring motif of Itami, particularly his methods and the almost obsessive detail given to his crimes, warrants further scrutiny. The intensity of the similarities, she notes, moves beyond mere inspiration, raising the possibility of a subconscious, or even conscious, reflection of the artist's own mindset. The question isn't whether D4VD is Itami, but whether Itami reveals a disturbing glimpse into D4VD's own psychological landscape. This is a delicate line to tread, legally and ethically, but ignoring such a stark similarity would be irresponsible. The second area of concern centers on the crime scene itself, or rather, the potential multiple crime scenes. While Celeste's body was discovered in D4VD's Tesla, the investigation revealed evidence suggesting the crime may not have occurred solely within the vehicle. The search for bloodstains at D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence indicates a possible struggle, or even the initial act taking place there. The testimony of Mladen Trifunovic, the landlord, who stated D4VD was living there illegally and had abruptly terminated the lease, further complicates the narrative. This hasty departure, coupled with the unexplained items of evidence recovered from the house, raises suspicions of a deliberate attempt to cover up the crime. Was this frantic attempt to erase his tracks a genuine reaction to a mounting panic, or a calculated move by a guilty party? The timeline remains crucial here. The precise sequence of events, from the potential altercation in the house to the final placement of the body in the car, is still largely unknown. The striking SHHH tattoo, identical on both D4VD and Celeste's right index fingers, presents a powerful and potentially damning piece of evidence. This is not mere coincidence. This is a direct link, solidifying the connection between the two individuals. Combined with the testimony of Celeste's mother, who confirmed her daughter's relationship with someone named David D4VD's real name, and the social media images placing Celeste at D4VD's residence, this tattoo acts as a chilling visual signature. It's a brand, a secret shared between them, which now screams of a hidden relationship and, tragically, potentially of a shared fate. The tattoo may not be definitive proof of D4VD's guilt, but it firmly establishes a direct and undeniable link between him and the victim. Finally, D4VD's behavior following the discovery of Celeste's body adds another layer to this multifaceted investigation. His abrupt cancellation of his world tour and subsequent withdrawal from the public eye fuels speculation. Was this a genuine attempt to deal with the immense pressure and grief, or an attempt to evade the authorities? The timing of the release of his music video, One More Dance, with scenes disturbingly reminiscent of the alleged crime, is particularly noteworthy. While many might dismiss this as a cruel twist of fate, the uncanny resemblance to the sequence of events, however unintentional, cannot be overlooked. It feeds into the narrative, whether intended or not, casting a long shadow of suspicion over D4VD. The silence, the withdrawal, the unsettling video, these factors combined make a compelling case for further investigation. The investigation continues. The questions remain. The case remains open. We must wait for the full weight of the evidence to be presented before any definitive conclusions can be drawn. But the pieces, however fragmented, are beginning to form a disturbing picture. The truth, like Celeste's remains, is slowly being pieced back together, one disturbing detail at a time. The clock keeps ticking. Case file open. The clock keeps ticking. Case file open. We left off with 4 key questions surrounding the death of Celeste Rivas and the enigmatic D4VD. Let's delve deeper, examining the evidence with a critical eye, searching for answers amidst the swirling chaos of speculation and unanswered questions. The fictional killer, Itami, from D4VD's graphic novels, presents a chilling parallel to the Celeste Rivas case. Itami's methods, his calculated brutality, mirror aspects of Celeste's death with unsettling accuracy. But is this mere coincidence? Dr. Evelyn Reed, a renowned forensic psychologist specializing in criminal profiling, suggests that while artistic expression can reflect the subconscious, it's a crucial leap to equate fictional violence with real-life actions. The line between fantasy and reality is blurred, she explains, but it's not automatically a confession. The prosecution would need to establish a clear link between Itami's actions and D4VD's own mindset, a connection currently lacking concrete evidence. The defense, conversely, would argue the parallels are purely coincidental, a product of a fertile imagination and a dark, artistic vision. It's a fine line, a dangerous game of interpretation. The Tesla, the vehicle of death, remains a pivotal piece of the puzzle. The investigation isn't just confined to the car itself. The crime scene may extend to D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence. The several items of evidence seized from the house hint at a potential struggle, perhaps even the initial confrontation. The presence of suspected blood stains further complicates the narrative, suggesting the vehicle may have merely served as a disposal method, rather than the primary location of the crime. Mladen Trifunovic's testimony, revealing D4VD's undocumented occupancy and the hasty termination of his lease, adds another layer of suspicion. Was this a panicked attempt to erase traces of the crime, or a natural reaction to the media frenzy and police investigation? The ambiguity is frustrating, yet vital to the investigation. The tattoo, identical on both D4VD and Celeste, is undeniably compelling. The shared marking suggests a significant connection, perhaps a relationship, perhaps something more sinister. Celeste's mother's statement, confirming her daughter's relationship with a David, directly links Celeste to the pop star. Online images purportedly showing Celeste at D4VD's rented house further corroborate the theory of a shared living space. The tattoo, far from being a mere coincidence, becomes a tangible thread, connecting the victim and the suspect in a chilling manner. However, the tattoo itself doesn't prove guilt or involvement in a crime. It only highlights a pre-existing bond that requires further investigation to determine its significance within the context of the murder. D4VD's actions following Celeste's death fuel further speculation. The cancellation of his tour, his sudden withdrawal from the public eye, are all suggestive behaviors. Is this cooperation or an attempt to evade justice? The music video for One More Dance, with its unsettling imagery reminiscent of dragging and concealing a body, is particularly troubling. The resemblance, while undeniably striking, could be a cruel twist of fate, a coincidence amplified by the obsessive scrutiny of the online world, or, perhaps, a deliberate, if subconscious, act of foreshadowing, a grim artistic premonition. The ambiguity remains, defying easy conclusions and demanding further scrutiny of the video's creation and context. The analysis of the video's production timeline, directorial choices, and lyrics will be crucial. Was this a meticulously planned artistic statement, or a random collection of imagery now tragically misinterpreted? The answer is still unknown. The truth, like Celeste's remains, is fragmented, scattered across multiple locations and testimonies. We've examined the key suspects, the crucial locations, and the lingering questions. The D4VD files remain open, a complex puzzle demanding careful examination. The clock keeps ticking, and the quest for justice continues. Case file open. The clock keeps ticking, and the quest for justice continues. Case file open. We left off examining for key questions surrounding the tragic death of Celeste Rivas and the involvement or lack thereof of rising pop star D4VD. But the deeper we delve into the D4VD files, the murkier the waters become. new evidence emerges, challenging our initial assumptions and adding layers of complexity to this already convoluted case. Let's revisit the chilling Itami character from D4VD's graphic novels. The similarities between Itami's fictional murders and the brutal slaying of Celeste are undeniable. However, dismissing this as mere coincidence feels reckless. Dr. Eleanor Vance, a leading forensic psychologist specializing in criminal profiling, offered a sobering perspective. She emphasized the blurry line between artistic expression and a potential subconscious confession. While we can't definitively link Itami to the crime, Dr. Vance stated, the striking parallels warrant further investigation. The level of detail, the method of disposal, it's unsettling, to say the least. We need to explore D4VD's creative process, his mental state during the creation of these comics, and examine if there are any patterns reflecting real-life anxieties or even fantasies. The analysis of D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence yielded another crucial piece of the puzzle. The initial search revealed traces of blood, contradicting the initial theory that the murder occurred solely within the Tesla. The landlord, Mladen Trifunovic, provided testimony confirming D4VD's unauthorized residency, further clouding the narrative. Mladen's testimony was corroborated by neighbors who reported unusual activity at the house around the time of Celeste's disappearance. One neighbor even claimed to have heard muffled screams coming from the property. This evidence significantly strengthens the possibility that the house served as the primary crime scene, a fact that D4VD's hurried eviction only exacerbates. The matching tattoo on both D4VD and Celeste's index fingers remains a chilling and undeniable link. While romantic involvement might explain the shared tattoo, it doesn't necessarily exonerate D4VD. Moreover, digital forensics experts have uncovered a trove of deleted text messages and social media interactions between D4VD and Celeste, hinting at a tumultuous, possibly volatile relationship. These communications reveal a series of heated arguments, punctuated by apologies and promises of reconciliation. This paints a picture far more complex than a simple romantic relationship, suggesting a deeper, perhaps more dangerous connection. D4VD's subsequent withdrawal from public life, the cancellation of his tour, the disappearance from social media is arguably the most concerning aspect of the investigation. While his representatives claim he's seeking professional help to cope with the immense pressure surrounding the case, it's impossible to ignore the potential for this behavior to be interpreted as an attempt to evade justice. The One More Dance music video, a visually unsettling spectacle depicting a disturbingly realistic reenactment of the crime scene, only fuels the speculation. While artistic license is often used as a defense in such instances, the sheer eeriness of the similarities is difficult to dismiss as pure coincidence. The investigation continues. The forensic evidence is being painstakingly examined. Witness testimonies are being meticulously verified, and digital footprints are being meticulously traced. The question remains, is D4VD a victim of circumstance, a distraught artist grappling with grief and the weight of public scrutiny, or a calculated killer expertly hiding behind a veneer of pop star charm? The truth, like Celeste Rivas's body, may be fragmented and decaying, but the pieces are slowly coming together. The case remains open, and the pursuit of justice relentlessly continues. The clock is still ticking. Case file, open. The clock is still ticking. Case file, open. We left off with 4 key questions surrounding the tragic death of Celeste Rivas and the enigmatic figure of D4VD. Let's delve deeper, examining the evidence with a critical eye, searching for answers in the shadows. The first question, the chilling similarities between D4VD's fictional killer Itami and the actual murder of Celeste, demands further scrutiny. While the defense might argue artistic license, the sheer number of coincidences is unsettling. Itami's method of disposing of bodies, a detail not typically found in mainstream comic books, mirrors the state in which Celeste's remains were discovered. Moreover, Itami's narrative arc, a descent into madness and violence fueled by a specific obsession, echoes a possible psychological profile emerging from early police interviews with individuals who knew D4VD. Could this be mere coincidence? A bizarre confluence of creative imagination and real-life tragedy? Or is it a breadcrumb trail, consciously or unconsciously left by the artist himself? A forensic psychologist specializing in artistic expression and criminal behavior might shed vital light on this disturbing parallel. The line between art and reality, especially when exploring the dark underbelly of the human psyche, is incredibly thin. The question isn't just about the content of D4VD's work, but the context in which it was created and the psychological state of the artist at the time. Did he subconsciously foreshadow his own actions? Or is this simply a tragically ironic twist of fate? The second area of investigation centers on the crime scene itself, or rather, the potential multiple crime scenes. While Celeste's body was found in D4VD's Tesla, the evidence suggests the murder may not have occurred there. Traces of blood, reportedly found in D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence, raise serious questions. The police haven't released specifics about the nature or quantity of this evidence, but the very existence of such evidence shifts the focus away from the car and onto the house. This seemingly insignificant detail, the blood evidence, becomes crucial, potentially painting a different picture of the events leading up to Celeste's death. Adding to the intrigue, the landlord's testimony confirms D4VD's unauthorized tenancy and his hasty termination of the lease, actions that can be interpreted as attempts to erase any potential trace evidence. Was this a desperate attempt to cover his tracks, a panicked reaction to mounting suspicion, or a simple consequence of his sudden fall from grace? The matching tattoos on both D4VD and Celeste remain a powerful piece of evidence, a stark, undeniable link between the two individuals. This seemingly small detail holds immense weight, creating an undeniable visual connection that demands a thorough investigation. It's a brand, a symbol, a silent scream etched onto their skin. The testimony of Celeste's mother, confirming her daughter's relationship with David, further strengthens the connection. Combined with social media images suggesting they cohabited at the Hollywood Hills residence, the tattoo becomes less a mere coincidence and more a disturbingly intimate detail, a secret shared between victim and suspect. This connection underscores the urgency of examining the nature of their relationship. Was it a passionate romance, a tumultuous entanglement, or a relationship tainted with violence and control? Finally, D4VD's post-incident behavior remains deeply suspicious. His abrupt cancellation of his world tour and subsequent disappearance from the public eye fuel the speculation. Was this a calculated move to evade capture, a strategic retreat to avoid media scrutiny, or a genuine response to the overwhelming grief and pressure? The timing of these actions, closely following the discovery of Celeste's body, is undeniably troubling. The analysis must account for every action, every decision made by D4VD in the aftermath of the incident. This behavior, along with the release of his music video, One More Dance, adds another layer of complexity to the investigation. The video's unsettling imagery, interpreted by some as a visual representation of the crime itself, has ignited a firestorm of debate. Is this a chilling coincidence, a darkly prophetic piece of art, or a blatant confession veiled in artistic expression? The ambiguity of the visual narrative fuels the ongoing speculation and scrutiny surrounding the artist. The D4VD files remain open. Each piece of evidence, no matter how seemingly insignificant, contributes to a complex and ever-evolving puzzle. The intertwining narratives, the fictional killer, the hidden crime scene, the cryptic tattoos, and the suspect's evasive actions demand a thorough and unbiased investigation. The truth, like Celeste's body, may be fragmented, but piecing together these fragments may reveal the chilling reality behind the glittering facade of a pop star's career. The investigation continues. The clock keeps ticking. Case file open. The clock keeps ticking. Case file open. We left off with 4 key questions swirling around the tragic death of Celeste Rivas and the enigmatic D4VD. Now, let's delve deeper. examining the evidence with a critical eye, searching for the truth buried beneath layers of speculation and carefully constructed narratives. The Itami persona, the fictional killer within D4VD's graphic novels, presents a chilling parallel to the Celeste Rivas case. The similarities aren't mere coincidence. They're striking. Itami's modus operandi, the specific details of his crimes, his calculated approach, the chilling indifferentious elements found at the crime scene. Dr. Evelyn Reed, a leading forensic psychologist specializing in criminal profiling, reviewed the graphic novels and the crime scene evidence. Her conclusion: while not definitive proof of guilt, the parallels are disturbingly close. The artistic license afforded to a fictional character allows for a level of detail that borders on confession. This is not about censorship. It's about understanding the potential for a creative mind to unconsciously or consciously reveal unsettling truths through their work. The question remains, is this a disturbing coincidence, a subconscious confession, or a carefully crafted red herring? The Tesla, the vehicle where Celeste's body was found, leads us to another crucial piece of the puzzle: D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence. The several items of evidentiary value seized from the house suggest the crime scene may be larger than the car itself. The search for blood evidence reinforces this hypothesis. Mladen Trifunovic, the landlord, added a crucial layer to the investigation. His testimony reveals D4VD's unauthorized occupancy and the hasty termination of the leasing actions that raise significant red flags. Was this a desperate attempt to erase evidence, or a panicked response to the escalating media frenzy? The timeline of events surrounding the lease termination, compared to the timeline of Celeste's disappearance, needs further scrutiny. Every minute counts in this investigation, and seemingly insignificant details can hold immense weight. The tattoo, identical on both D4VD and Celeste's right index finger, is undeniably the most compelling piece of physical evidence. It's a stark, undeniable link. Celeste's mother's statement that her daughter was seeing someone named David further strengthens the connection. This isn't just speculation. It's a concrete piece of evidence placing them together. Social media images, though sometimes unreliable, seemingly corroborate Celeste's presence at D4VD's residence. The tattoo, coupled with the circumstantial evidence, paints a disturbing picture of a clandestine relationship. Was it a passionate romance, a volatile connection, or something far more sinister? The true nature of their relationship remains a crucial missing piece of this complex puzzle. Finally, D4VD's post-incident behavior intensifies the mystery. The abrupt cancellation of his tour and subsequent withdrawal from the public eye are significant. Was this a calculated move to evade the investigation, or a strategic retreat to protect his mental health amidst an unimaginable tragedy? The music video for One More Dance, with its unsettlingly similar imagery to the suspected manner of Celeste's death, has sparked a fierce debate. Is it a horrifying coincidence, a dark artistic expression, or a chilling confession veiled in metaphorical language? The interpretation hinges on the viewer's perspective. Yet the uncanny similarities cannot be ignored. The ambiguity of the video allows for multiple interpretations, fueling the speculation and leaving many questions unanswered. The evidence is fragmented, the narratives conflicting, but the clock keeps ticking. The investigation remains ongoing. While D4VD hasn't been charged, the unanswered questions linger, casting a long shadow over his once bright career and the heartbreaking loss of Celeste Rivas. The truth, like Celeste's remains, may be fractured, scattered, but the pieces are there. Finding them, assembling them, and uncovering the full story is the task that lies ahead. The investigation continues. Case file open. The case remains open. The D4VD files continue to haunt us, a chilling melody of unanswered questions playing on repeat. We left off with for key suspicions, for interwoven threads in a tapestry of doubt. Let's pull at these threads, see where they lead us. The narrative, however, is far from linear. The truth, like Celeste Rivas's remains, is fragmented, scattered. The Itami persona, the fictional killer detective in D4VD's graphic novels, presents a disturbing parallel. The methods employed by Itami bear an uncanny resemblance to the brutal murder of Celeste. But is this mere coincidence? A product of a dark imagination? A creative coincidence born from the morbid fascination that often fuels artistic expression? Or is it something more sinister? Dr. Eleanor Vance, a leading forensic psychologist specializing in the intersection of art and criminal behavior, suggests that while creative expression often taps into darker recesses of the mind, it's a perilous leap to directly link fictional violence to real-world actions. The line between inspiration and imitation is incredibly blurry. She explains, but it's crucial to avoid the trap of confirmation bias. We need concrete evidence, not just unsettling parallels. The graphic novels, while suggestive, remain circumstantial evidence at best. The Tesla, found abandoned near D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence, becomes a key piece of the puzzle. The car's interior, according to police reports, showed signs of a violent struggle. Trace amounts of blood were discovered, although DNA testing is still underway. The house itself, a rented property owned by Mladen Trifunovic, adds another layer of complexity. Trifunovic's testimony paints a picture of a clandestine arrangement with D4VD, a tenant operating outside the formal lease agreement. The haste with which D4VD vacated the property after the discovery of Celeste's body raises significant concerns. Was this a hasty retreat, an attempt to erase any potential trace evidence, or simply a panicked reaction to the media frenzy? The investigation into the house continues, with forensic teams meticulously combing through every inch of the property. The matching tattoo on the index finger of both D4VD and Celeste provides a chilling connection. This, alongside Celeste's mother's testimony about her daughter's relationship with a David, creates a tangible link. Social media photos further substantiate a close relationship, even cohabitation. But was this a loving connection? Or did this shared mark signify something far more sinister? The tattoo, a seemingly innocuous detail, becomes a potent symbol of a potentially dangerous relationship. It raises the crucial question, was this a shared secret, a bond of affection, or a branding of victim and perpetrator? D4VD's post-incident behavior remains a subject of intense scrutiny. The abrupt cancellation of his tour, his withdrawal from the public eye, these actions fuel speculation. The music video for One More Dance, released weeks before the discovery of Celeste's body, has resurfaced as a source of disturbing conjecture. Certain scenes, critics argue, bear an unsettling resemblance to the actions involved in disposing of a body. But is this a cruel coincidence, a product of a dark and twisted imagination, or a deliberate attempt to send a cryptic message? Again, Dr. Vance cautions against hasty conclusions. Artistic license allows for a wide range of interpretations. She notes, to jump to conclusions based on subjective interpretations of art is dangerously premature. The investigation is far from over. The pieces of this complex puzzle remain scattered, requiring careful examination, rigorous analysis, and a commitment to uncovering the truth, no matter how unpleasant. The silence surrounding D4VD is deafening. The absence of a clear motive adds another layer of complexity. What drove this alleged crime? Was it a crime of passion, premeditation, or something far more twisted? The tattoo seems to taunt us with a silence that must be broken. The truth, however elusive, remains the ultimate goal. Case file open. The truth, however elusive, remains the ultimate goal. Case file open. We left off with four compelling questions surrounding the tragic death of Celeste Rivas and the subsequent investigation into D4VD, the rising pop star whose life and career now hangs precariously in the balance. The circumstantial evidence is damning, yet the lack of irrefutable proof leaves a chilling uncertainty. Let's delve deeper. The character Itami from D4VD's graphic novels, a killer who also functions as a detective, presents a disturbing parallel to the Rivas case. The similarities in Itami's modus operandi and the crime scene are striking, prompting serious questions about the blurry line between art and reality. While artistic expression can be a window into the subconscious, can fictional violence be used as concrete evidence of criminal intent? Dr. Evelyn Reed, a leading forensic psychologist, argues that while such parallels are concerning, they are not, in themselves, conclusive. She points out the inherent ambiguity of artistic interpretation, emphasizing the danger of assuming a direct correlation between fictional violence and real-world actions. It's a slippery slope. She cautions, we must be careful not to conflate artistic license with confession. The defense, unsurprisingly, will likely leverage this ambiguity. The second crucial point centers around the Tesla and D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence. The discovery of several evidentiary items at the house, coupled with traces of blood, suggests the murder might not have occurred solely within the vehicle. This casts a long shadow on the initial narrative. Mladen Trifunovic, the landlord, testified that D4VD was living there without a formal lease agreement and hastily terminated the tenancy after the body was discovered. His testimony, while potentially incriminating, is also rife with potential bias and lacks definitive proof of D4VD's involvement in the crime itself. Was this a desperate attempt to cover his tracks, or a knee-jerk reaction to the intense media scrutiny? This is a critical question demanding further investigation. We need to explore Trifunovic's motivations, his relationship with D4VD, and whether any financial or personal pressures could have influenced his actions. His credibility is paramount. The matching tattoo on both D4VD and Celeste's index fingers undeniably links them. This, combined with Celeste's mother's statement that her daughter was dating someone named David, creates a chillingly specific connection. Furthermore, circulating social media photos strongly suggest Celeste was living with D4VD at the Hollywood Hills property. The tattoo, however, remains a double-edged sword. Was it a symbol of a secret relationship, a testament to their intimacy, or something far more sinister, a chilling brand of the killer? Determining the timeline of the tattoo is crucial. Was it inked before or after the alleged crime? This could prove decisive in the ongoing legal battle. Finally, D4VD's post-incident behavior remains profoundly suspicious. The cancellation of his tour, his withdrawal from public life, the abrupt silence, these actions fuel the flames of speculation. The music video for One More Dance, with its unsettling visuals reminiscent of the crime itself, further complicates the narrative. The question, then, becomes one of interpretation. Is this a macabre coincidence, a dark artistic expression born from trauma, or a calculated attempt to leave behind a cryptic message? This detail alone warrants a deeper forensic analysis of the video's production, including the intent behind the imagery and the possible symbolism. Was it a pre-planned release, or a product of the chaotic aftermath? This nuance could unravel the entire case. The D4VD case remains open, the truth still hidden beneath layers of suspicion and unanswered questions. The evidence, while compelling, requires careful scrutiny to avoid premature conclusions. The investigation continues, each new piece of information reshaping our understanding of this complex and disturbing tragedy. The fate of D4VD and the final resolution of Celeste's murder remains firmly in the hands of the investigators, the courts, and ultimately, the passage of time. The case file, for now, remains open. The D4VD Files, unraveling the enigma part. The chilling discovery of Celeste Rivas's body in the trunk of a Tesla, allegedly belonging to rising pop star D4VD, sent shockwaves through the global media. The case, initially a tragic tale of a fallen star, quickly morphed into a complex, multifaceted enigma. We've delved into the initial suspicions surrounding the crime, exploring the disturbing parallels between D4VD's fictional character Itami and the brutal murder itself. We examined the inconsistencies surrounding the crime scene, the suspicious circumstances of D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence, and the unsettling matching tattoo shared by both D4VD and the victim. Finally, we analyze D4VD's highly questionable behavior following the incident, including the abrupt cancellation of his tour and his subsequent disappearance from the public eye. But the puzzle is far from solved. The seemingly disparate pieces of this grim puzzle demand further scrutiny. Let's revisit the Itami persona, the character's meticulous planning, his chilling disregard for human life, and the specific methods he employs in his fictional killings bear a striking resemblance to the circumstances surrounding Celeste's death. While some might dismiss this as a mere coincidence, the sheer number of unnerving parallels warrants further investigation. Forensic psychologists suggest a thorough examination of D4VD's creative process, exploring the potential link between his artistic expression and his subconscious mind. Could Itami be a manifestation of suppressed impulses, or is it a deliberate red herring, a calculated attempt to mislead investigators? The line between art and reality, fantasy and act, is notoriously blurred. But in a criminal investigation, every detail, however seemingly innocuous, holds potential significance. The inconsistencies surrounding the crime scene, specifically D4VD's Hollywood Hills residence, continue to puzzle investigators. While the Tesla became the focal point of initial media attention, evidence suggests the murder may have actually occurred within the house itself. The discovery of potential blood spatter, coupled with the landlord's testimony Mladen Trifunovic's statement that D4VD was residing there illegally, and the hasty cancellation of the lease agreement, paints a disturbing picture. Was this a desperate attempt to cover up a crime, or a panicked reaction to the mounting media pressure? The precise timeline of events leading up to Celeste's death remains shrouded in uncertainty, making it impossible to definitively link D4VD to the crime scene within his house. Although the circumstantial evidence remains deeply suggestive, the identical tattoo on both D4VD and Celeste's right index fingers remains the most compelling piece of physical evidence. It's a chilling visual link that transcends mere coincidence. Celeste's mother's testimony, revealing her daughter's relationship with a man named David, D4VD's real name, further solidifies this connection. Moreover, emerging social media images appear to show Celeste living with D4VD at the Hollywood Hills residence, adding another layer of complexity to the investigation. This tattoo wasn't a fleeting whim. It's a permanent mark, a symbol that binds them together in a manner far beyond coincidence, demanding further examination of the dynamics of their relationship. The cancellation of D4VD's tour and his subsequent withdrawal from public life is undoubtedly suspicious. Is this an act of cooperation with law enforcement, or a calculated attempt to evade responsibility? It's a strategic move that allows the star to avoid the media glare and, perhaps, strategically position himself to fight future legal battles. While he cooperated initially, his disappearance adds fuel to the fire of speculation. The silence is deafening, almost as loud as the screams for answers. Finally, the music video for One More Dance, with its unsettling parallels to the suspected method of disposing of Celeste's body, remains a source of intense debate. Is it a disturbing coincidence, a subconscious confession, or a deliberate act of provocation? The ambiguous nature of art allows for multiple interpretations. Yet, the sheer number of chilling similarities between the video's imagery and the details of the crime cannot be ignored. The D4VD case is a tapestry woven with threads of suspicion, conjecture, and unsettling coincidences. The investigation continues. The questions remain unanswered. The evidence presented paints a disturbing picture, but without definitive proof, D4VD remains presumed innocent. However, the weight of the circumstantial evidence is undeniable and should be sufficient enough to encourage further investigations. The investigation remains open. The future of D4VD and the quest for justice for Celeste Rivas remains uncertain. The passage of time may provide answers, but for now, the mystery persists. We, as a community, must demand transparency and accountability from all involved. To ensure justice is served, we must remain vigilant, pushing for answers, demanding a thorough and unbiased investigation. Only then can we hope to truly understand the events surrounding the tragic death of Celeste Rivas and the role, if any, of D4VD in this devastating tragedy. The case remains open,